7-Day Survivor is an achievement that used to take 14 hours to complete in the original Dead Rising. Keywords here being used to, because 7-Day Survivor is back in the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, and now it only takes a few hours, making it a lot easier than it used to be. How much easier? Well, let's get it and find out. Just pay no mind to the fact that I died virtually at the finish line on my first attempt. Oh, I wasn't paying attention! I wasn't looking, I'm so stupid! I was literally staring at the time and not at my health bar! I'm so stupid! I believe this is what the kids call a skill issue, if the skill was the ability to pay attention. Despite my mental breakdown, it's still way easier, I promise. So here's the way this used to work, and still mostly does. For 7-Day Survivor, you have to last at least 7 days in Dead Rising's Infinity mode, where everything and everyone is hostile to you, all the while your health constantly ticks down over time unless you eat. The thing is, unlike the main game, food is extremely limited. There's a set amount you can find around the mall, all the other food is dropped by killing psychopaths or survivors. And now in the Deluxe Remaster, sometimes also by killing zombies, cultists, and soldiers. And while that definitely helps, that's not the main thing that almost gift wraps this entire challenge. The Deluxe Remaster lets you fast forward time, which is greatly appreciated. The original time investment looks like this. One in-game day is 2 hours. Multiply that by 7 days, and we've got 14 hours. But now, if you've got the food stocked up, a day can take minutes instead. As much as I liked getting the original achievement, which you can watch as well if you want, wink wink, I don't think anything should require a single 14-hour gaming session. I know I'm not a doctor, but I sure didn't feel healthy after I did that original run. It did feel great after getting it this time, so let's get to it. Day 1 is where we lay all the groundwork for making this as short and sweet as possible. That being said, there's a level of RNG present that wasn't here in the original, so there's obviously playing a little fast and loose with that. What I mean is that in the original, Psychopath and Survivor spawns were the exact same every time you played, whereas here, it appears to be completely random every time. Like how right off the bat, I had Brock on the helipad. Insane iframes, bro. And then Natalie in the warehouse for this run. When my first attempt had Otis on the roof at the start. Or a test run I did that had Sean in the movie theater. Oh! The groundwork in question, though, is not eating anything at all until we have all the health books. There's 3 in total, 1 in each of the Entrance, Wonderland, and North plazas, and altogether they increase the amount we heal from a single piece of food by 200%. Turning a lot of items into full heals. You can see how that's useful. Speaking of useful, being level 50 prior to tackling this run is probably wise for all the stat upgrades. Also, I unlocked this lightsaber by making it 5 days on that first run. I didn't bother grinding out the Mega Buster, although in retrospect, I kinda wish I did, for reasons we'll talk about in a bit. Anyways, with the final health book from the North Plaza, I rounded up all the loose food items kicking around here as well. Like I said at the start of the video, the food spawns are very limited around the mall, so generally I like to save them for when I don't have NPCs to hunt down for sustenance. But in the case of the North and Entrance plazas, these places suck to hold out in, and food is pretty sparsely scattered around them. So I cleared them out here at the start. And before anyone asks, both entrances to the grocery store and the North Plaza are unfortunately locked. No, we're not fighting Cletus. That's fine. Now for the core part of this run. Doing absolutely nothing except making sure you cancel the time skip so you don't starve to death, because that would be both tragic and embarrassing. You can use the time skip in the same places it lets you in the main game, meaning the security room, Carlito's hideout, and the bathrooms. You're usually safe in the bathrooms, assuming you don't lead a zombie in there, or there's not a psychopath in the area because they seemingly heat-seek Frank. Survivors, on the other hand, tend to leave you alone unless you aggro them. My personal favorite bathroom is the one with the shortcut between the Paradise and Wonderland plazas, because it makes it really easy to get around quickly to NPC spawns. And on that note, another new feature in the Deluxe Remaster is that the map gets a little icon on it when someone's hanging out in a plaza waiting to get got. My strategy quickly became checking the map after almost every skip to see if there was anyone close by. In this case, it was the sniper family in the Entrance Plaza. Even without the lightsaber, the majority of psychopaths are pushovers. After getting the goods, it's back to waiting. Alright, fun fact time. Adam's green balloons heal you a single square, so hypothetically, you could use him to live forever. Check this shit out, chat. And you see here how the zombie dropped a box? Completely random if you get a weapon or a heal. But in theory, if you were desperate, you could farm kills for drops and hope you get lucky. Which I actually tested out on my first attempt in the maintenance tunnels. First, I tried running over a bunch of zombies with the car, but unfortunately it looks like they won't drop anything this way. Or I'm just insanely unlucky. So I adjusted my strategy to running them over until we got a queen, then used the queen to kill a bunch of zombies, hoping that we'd get some drops. And that actually worked. So there's maybe a decent way to farm zombies if you need to. Anyways, around day 2, the cultists start spawning in alongside the zombies, but they're hardly an issue, just like the zombies if you haven't noticed. The only 2 attacks we need to worry about from the cultists both involve blowing. One is blowing some sort of powder in Frank's face that stuns him, the other is blowing up. Beyond that, they're just more meat for the grinder, unlike the soldiers who start spawning around this time as well. These guys are the sole reason I wish I had maybe unlocked the Mega Buster, because in theory, the soldiers are super easy to kill. All you need to do is disembowel them, or slam their heads really hard on the ground. The problem is, they usually move in pairs, and they can absolutely bullet hose us down if we don't get the drop on them, or close the distance really quickly. They are the most dangerous enemies in the entire game. I'm not being dramatic, they can stun lock us. Look at that reaction time! I can't move! The safest way to deal with soldiers while preserving our precious health squares is usually by shooting them across the plaza. They all drop guns when they die, so after you get the initial 1 or 2, it's just a matter of holding down the trigger. Both the soldiers and the cultists will spawn in most areas now, and of course respawn were we to leave a place we've killed them and then come back, unlike the zombies who will just respawn as they get cleared out. Which brings me back around to those initial food spawns we left alone in a lot of the plazas. Because what I did here was clear out the entirety of the cultists and soldiers in Paradise Plaza, then with my previous haul of food and all the remaining food in Paradise, I hunkered down for a good while. I should mention that when you start up Infinity mode, the game already says it's been 1 day on the overall timer it shows on load screens. Like right here, when I finally left Paradise to go hunt down some more food, it says it's at 4 days and 19 hours, when it's actually only been 3 days and 19 hours. I don't know if this is a bug or the way it's meant to be, but it's good to be aware of so you don't accidentally mismanage your food. On day 3, I had enough good luck with Psychopath and Survivor spawns that it stocked me up for a decently long on and off stay in the security room. That now has zombies actively spawning in it. I was pretty much constantly paranoid that one was going to spawn during the waits and end the run, but that never happened, so that's nice. Day 4 took me to the movie theater, and let me tell you, that place is absolutely loaded with cultists. It was a nice day nonetheless. Day 5, I hit up Leisure Park, where beyond the assortment of snacks laying around, you can pick exactly 3 apples with a machine gun. I guess I could have used a rock or something, but surely the lead is added calories. At the very start of day 6, I snuck through the food court and grabbed a bunch of wine on my way to Alfresca Plaza. I would have stayed in the food court, but either I'm blind or it actually doesn't have a washroom, which kinda seems like a design flaw for a mall. At least this gym in Alfresca Plaza has a bathroom. Someone's probably just as likely to shit themselves here. Anyways, between the wine from the food court and all the stuff I grabbed in Alfresca, it was more than enough to push me over the finish line. Oh! Thank God. Thank God. Okay. I'm so relieved. Oh, I'm so relieved. For reference, this took me just over 3 hours of real time versus the 14 hours it took me for the original. But this attempt didn't end quite here because I messed around for another 45 minutes. Most of that was trying to get the perfect thumbnail face from Frank. Then I purposely let him starve this time. Thank God, we did it. 9 days, 15 hours, 42 minutes. We'll take that. We'll take that. And that's Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster's 7-day survivor achievement. The only threat in this run are the soldiers. They are the worst. Unless you bring the Mega Buster, probably. This was fun, and pretty clear you can get the time down much quicker for that 7-day mark, or go much, much longer if you really wanted to. I'm glad I got this. And I'm also very glad that this is the one I died during and not the 14-hour one. If you like this video, consider giving it a like, leaving me a comment about how actually the soldiers aren't that bad, and then subscribe to watch my next video. It would really mean a lot to me. If you want to catch the next run live, you can always find me over at twitch.tv/anxiety. Thanks for watching. Where do we go from here, though? That is a great question. That is a wonderful question. Where do we go from here? Not to Willamette Mall. Hey.